Good evening. We'd like to call the meeting to order and welcome everyone.
This meeting is being held in accordance with the schedule of meetings adopted at the organizational meeting held on January 3rd, 2024. Adequate notice of this regular meeting of the Kenilworth Board of Education has been provided to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, the local source, on January 11th, 2024. A copy has been filed with the Kenilworth Borough Clerk, posted in the board office, the Kenilworth Borough Hall, Brearley and Harding Schools, as is provided by the Open Public Meetings Act.
Thank you, Mr. Ganella. Please join us and rise to salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Ganella, can we please have roll call?
Yes. Biner.
Here.
David.
Here.
Drogan.
Here.
Farrar. Habather.
Here.
Wadati.
Here.
Panici.
Here.
Tiers.
Here.
Zimmerman.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. At this point, we will now have the receiving of the minutes from March 11th and 19th, 2024. May I please have a motion to accept the receiving of the minutes?
Motion to accept.
Can I have a,
March 4th and 11th.
oh, I'm sorry, March 4th and 11th. Sorry, correction, receiving of the minutes from March 4th and 11th, 2024. Motion made by Ms. Drogan,
Yes.
seconded by Mrs. Tiers. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion's carried. May I please have a motion to accept the committee norm meeting notes?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Biner, seconded by Mrs. Drogan. All those in favor of accepting the committee meeting notes, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Ayes have it, motion carried. Mr. Ganella, do we have any public correspondence this evening?
We do not.
Okay, perfect, thank you very much. Before we have the superintendent's reports and presentations, I'd just like to make a brief statement. Board members, please be informed that any information that is in your folder or in your Friday folders that is sent out or marked confidential are not to be discussed in the open session during the public meeting as per New Jersey Ethics Code NJSA 18A 12-24. At this time, Mr. Arlington, we have your report and presentations.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to see everyone. We have a full slate of presentations tonight, so we're looking forward to getting started right away. And we'll start with Harding's Executive Student Council Board. Here to introduce them and some of the good work they are doing for their school and community is their advisor, Mrs. Gina Folgar.
Okay, good evening. Thank you for having us. I'm Gina Folgar, and I'm the proud advisor of our wonderful student council at Harding. This is my 14th year doing student council, and each year our elected group of students continue to shine. This year, our group is made up of 18 students in grades 4 through 6. We have 4 executive board positions. We have a president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. And our 4 executive board members are here, and I'll introduce them one at a time, and they're going to come up and tell you a little bit about student council and our program. So we'll start with Leon Obian, our president.
Good evening. I am Leon Obian, and I am the president of the Student Council. The Student Council is a great organization because it allows students to lead our school through certain events. We organize events, fundraisers, and work on projects to improve the school. Being part of the Student Council is a great way to develop leadership skills, make a difference in your school, and to have fun with your friends. This is why the Student Council is a great organization.
Thank you, Leon, and he's one of our 6th graders, so I'm going to be sad to see him go. Next up, we have our vice president, Abby Gribben.
Good evening. My name is Abby Gribben, and I'm the Vice President of the Student Council. The process of running and voting takes a while. To run, we have to be in a good behavioral and academic standing. To run for the Executive Board, we have to make 2 posters, write a speech, and get 3 teacher recommendations. We hang the posters up around the 2nd floor, and on Election Day, we read our speech in front of the whole 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Students then fill out a Google form on who they think should get what position. The election process is a fun way to have students have a say in who gets to help with fundraisers and other stuff the Student Council does.
Another sixth grader. I'm so sad to see go. Next up is our treasurer, Aria Ferrioli.
Good evening. My name is Aria Ferrioli, and I am the treasurer for the Harding Student Council. I am here to talk about our successful food drive. It was the Super Bowl. The student council members started by handing out flyers around the school to advertise this food drive. Next, we set up tables representing the two teams, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. As the donations poured in, students placed their donated item on the team table they predicted to win. We received so much food that it was almost impossible to count. All food went to the Elmora Soup Kitchen. The Soup Kitchen distributed all of the donations to Cranford Family Care to help those families in difficult circumstances without the community. We even received a thank you note expressing how all donations were appreciated and made people very happy. We have a long-standing relationship with the Cranford Elmora Soup Kitchen, and they are always so thankful for all we do to help out. The Harding Student Council is proud of this event because it involves their student body taking part in an effort to help the community. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your evening.
Okay, and our last executive board member is our secretary, Angelina Frio.
Good evening. My name is Angelina Frio, and I'm the secretary for the Harding Student Council. This March, we held a Spirit Word contest for the students here at Harding as a chance to show their creativity and talent for the entire school. The theme was Kindness Around Harding, and there were many amazing drawings submitted. Though one really stood out to us, which was made by Carly Rivera, a 5th grade student in Mrs. DiArpo's class. We're going to use the money collected from the profit of the items we sold to buy recess equipment for the kids here.
So all of our executive board members are sixth graders. I don't think it's been like that in many, many years. So I feel it's a bittersweet moment for them at the end of this student council year that they'll be moving on over here at Brearley, and I hope that they'll continue their student council journey. So our Spirit Wear sale that Angelina was just talking about, we're going to in May, we're looking forward to our Spirit Wear sale, which will be underway this month. We're going to be selling different items that will have that design on it that was created by one of the students. And in May, our student council will take a trip to Borough Hall to learn all about the facets of our local government. And the Harding Student Council goes above and beyond every year, and this year is no different. We want to thank you for having us tonight at the Board of Education meeting, and we're always so grateful and appreciative of the continued support we receive from the community every year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. It sounds like you're doing a lot of good work, and we're really proud of that, of those efforts.
Ms. Fogel, we were just discussing if each of you had to give a piece of advice to the students that were taking over your positions next year, what might it be? Some advice for school or for government or for something that you've learned?
Something about the speeches. I don't know how that's always a nerve-wracking thing.
Always get help. I mean, I really couldn't make my speech without my parents. They really helped me a lot. Yeah. So you're not alone. So I would get all the help you can.
Good advice.
It's a good answer. Like, look at your audience when you're talking. It kind of like creates a connection. They want to vote for you if you like have like a kind of special like connection with them.
Great.
Just always try your hardest and do your best for your
Represent your constituents.
Yeah.
I guess you can like be very confident in yourself, believe that everything's gonna work out for you, even if you don't win. It shows to everybody that you're really
Be okay?
Resilient.
resilient.
And something that we're really talking about this year is making sure that their voice is heard. So amongst the students in our school, adults in our school, and just making sure that they're always on their best because people look up to them.
Very
Well done, guys.
inspiring.
Well
Thank you.
Yeah, great job.
I love the shirts. Thank you. You should do a back picture of the titles too.
And this was all them this year.
Nice.
They wanted so badly their titles on the back, so we were able to make that happen this year.
Don't worry, parents, we'll hold them in place for a moment. You get a shot too. All right, and everyone's got to stay put for the mom and dad shots.
Can you guys turn around so we can see your shirts?
That's okay, you can Photoshop it. Oh, that's a good idea.
That's so you can give them the.
Oh, that's cute.
Kathleen, do you mind giving them those like little tokens on my app?
That's Lisa.
Thank you, guys. Well done.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks, everybody. We always keep an extra bag for Nan, so Nan, you're up with your. It's the least we can do for being the student representative to the board. So if you'd like to give your report, feel free to do so. Thanks, Ms. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Arlington. Good evening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your Eclipse Day. I just have some notes. Before spring break, Burley held a wonderful Women's Day celebration in honor of Women's History Month. We welcomed guests, speakers, experienced several art performances, including poetry and dance, and honored several exemplary women in the lives of our students. Special thanks to Ms. Evchek and Ms. Bompanato for their work in leading the event. The middle school held a very successful March Madness basketball tournament, and the seniors held their senior dinner at Galloping Hill Golf Course. Coming up next week is Spring Spirit Week, and the dress days are as follows. Monday will be Decades Day, so dress like they did in a particular decade. Tuesday will be Anything But a Backpack Day, that's always fun. Wednesday is Twin Day / Group Day. Thursday is Students Dress as Teachers and Teachers Dress as Students. Friday is Soccer Mom versus Barbecue Dad. I think that's going to be interesting. The Spring Middle School Dance is scheduled for Friday, April 19th, and AP students are busy and preparing and studying for their upcoming AP tests. The first one will be May 7th. In the world of college admissions and post-secondary planning, this Friday, Burley is holding a scholarship application workshop. This is an opportunity for all seniors to engage with the school counseling department to work collaboratively on finding and applying for scholarships. In 2 weeks, Burley will once again run an SAT boot camp for any interested junior. The SAT boot camp will begin on the last full week of April and meet twice per week until the June 1st SAT, which will be at Burley. That's all. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Anyone have questions for Nan about his report?
Nope. Thanks, Ms. Ryan.
Thanks, Nan.
Spring approaches. The time of year sets into motion a variety of end-of-year celebrations. In the next couple of months, we'll look to celebrate our valedictorian and salutatorian, scholar athletes, and our retiring faculty and staff. But tonight, we'll kick off the celebration season by honoring our educators and educational service professionals of the year. Representing Harding, I'm pleased to introduce Assistant Principal Carrera, who will begin the recognition.
Good evening, everyone. And I want to thank Mrs. Folgart for coming tonight with our student council and echo everything she said about our sixth grade leaders, because not only do they serve on student council, but they are actively involved every month in our SEL assemblies too, supporting our Hawk Pride and helping our younger students with behavioral expectations. And I too will miss them next year. They are true leaders in our building and role models. So thank you for coming What a great night that we get to honor and talk about our Teacher of the Year and our Education Specialist. I have the pleasure of talking about Mrs. Ventura tonight. So Merriam-Webster, well deserved. Merriam-Webster defines a beacon as a source of light or inspiration. I see a beacon as a person who shines their light and in turn inspires and guides others. For the past 9 years, Michelle Ventura has been a guiding light in the lives of our 4th grade students at Harding School. Recognized as Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Ventura's journey has been one marked by tireless efforts and a genuine love for her students. A parent who nominated Mrs. Ventura expressed her gratitude, stating, "Mrs. Ventura works tirelessly with my son, patiently guiding him until he triumphed over every new skill. Her approach isn't just about teaching, it's about instilling confidence and fostering a love of learning that lasts a lifetime." I can't look at Michelle and not cry. But it isn't just her teaching prowess that shines, it's her profound compassion. Mrs. Ventura takes the time to know the unique personalities of each student, forging connections built on care and understanding. Her ability to create a classroom environment where students feel seen, heard, and valued is truly remarkable. Beyond her role as educator, Mrs. Ventura has served as the very successful coach of the high school soccer team and is also currently participating in our Teacher Leadership Academy. I want to share a personal story with Michelle this year that will absolutely exemplify who she is. Earlier in the year, this year, we had another 4th grade teacher who was out for about a week. The entire 4th grade team stepped up because they've just had a rough year. So every day Michelle was checking in on the sub that was in there, checking in on the staff, making sure they had their lessons. One particular day, the staff that was covering the class said, "I'm having a really hard time teaching math. I don't really know the topic." So Mrs. Ventura, on her own, prepared her own students for what they needed, arranged her own coverage, and went to that class to teach the math lesson that day. She truly is the epitome of a team leader and going above and beyond for students every single day. Congratulations, Michelle. Such a well-deserved honor.
There are flowers, I think. Sorry.
Mind if I change that?
We could do pictures at the end.
We want to get.
And against, thank you. Our Supervisor of Special Services, Mrs. Derulo, will speak next.
Good evening. Representing Harding Elementary School as the Educational Specialist of the Year is Asunta Abdelaziz. Asunta has an unwavering commitment to fostering a positive and inclusive learning environment which has significantly impacted both students and staff. Asunta carefully listens to staff and parent concerns and provides proactive strategies to support students and classrooms. Asunta is creative, she's growth mindset oriented, always acknowledging strengths and building off those strengths to effect positive change. Through her innovative approaches to behavioral intervention, she has transformed challenges into opportunities for growth, creating a supportive atmosphere where every student is valued and has the opportunity to excel. Her exceptional communication skills and collaborative nature have not only improved student behavior and learning, but have enhanced the overall school culture. Asunta shares her knowledge and expertise with staff through trainings, consultation, and direct service in the classroom. She's visible in the school building and is frequently sought after as a resource for our staff, parents, and students. On a personal note, I had the privilege of working with Asunta since I started working in district, and I learn something new every time we interact. You are just brilliant. And Aubrey and Sienna, you should be so proud. Your mommy is amazing. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thanks, Kathleen. Mr. Davies will speak next.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us, and thanks to the board for this opportunity to recognize our staff members. They represent a wonderful set of faculty and staff at both schools, so it's great to have this opportunity. And sixth graders, I look forward to having you here next year. Some great students coming up. I have the privilege of recognizing 3 individuals tonight, and the first is our educational services professional here at Brearley, and that is Mr. Ryan Jane. Mr. Jane is our athletic trainer, and he works tirelessly with our student athletes to make sure they are in the best shape possible to be successful in all of our sports, fall, winter, and spring. One of the individuals who nominated Mr. Jane says of him, "He is someone who our athletes always go to when they are dealing with problems, and he's happy to listen and be there for them every time. When students receive the bad news of long-term injuries that may put them out of sports for a while, Mr. Jane is there to keep a smile on their face and guide them through the rehab process." Mr. Jane has been with us at Brearley since 2014 as our athletic trainer, so he's been with us for a good amount of time, and he is also a proud alumnus of David Brearley, class of 2007. So he is a Brearley Bear through and through. One of the things that I think is such a wonderful aspect of Mr. Jane, and I don't know if he knows this, but I have had, and I can't count how many, but I have countless students who have said to me over the years, "I want to be Mr. Jane when I grow up." And I can't think of anything more endearing as an educator to be the person that others want to be. And that is such a wonderful aspect of Mr. Jane, that so many of our students want to be athletic trainers because he inspires them through the joy that he shows in his job and the care that he gives to all the students and the mentorship that he provides to them. So I want to say congratulations, Mr. Jane, for the Educational Services Professional of the Year. Next, I'd like to speak about Brearley Middle School. Representing our Middle School Teacher of the Year, congratulations goes to Mr. Alejandro Mejia. Senor Mejia teaches both middle school and high school. He is a jack of all trades. The nomination submission of him says, "Mr. Mejia is a great teacher and really engaged with the students. It has only been 3 months with him, and I've learned so much. He is also a really funny guy and makes the students laugh a lot. Senor Mejia's lessons hum with energy, his students delight in constant engagement, and he pours himself into his lesson planning. Mr. Mejia has been a driving force behind the success of Brearley's Hispanic Heritage Night, an annual event every October celebrating the richness of Hispanic cultures. He is a passionate member of our school's climate team, a dedicated facilitator of Brearley's Closet, which helps students in need, and an eager advisor to the newly created Brearley Volleyball Club. Mr. Mejia is in his 5th year of teaching at David Brearley, and he recently earned tenure just last year. And I think that speaks to the quality of education, of the educator that he is, that he just received tenure back in September, and he immediately is recognized as our Teacher of the Year in middle school. When you go into Mr. Mejia's classroom, it is a celebration of the Spanish language every single time. 5 periods a day, every single day of the year. And the students know that they're walking into a room to celebrate. And that's what's fascinating about him, is he's so engaging with his lesson planning, and he's so engaging as a personality that it's a delight to be in his presence in his classroom, and his students feel that. A couple years ago, he actually invited his 5th grade Spanish teacher? Dance teacher. He invited his 5th grade dance teacher in, and he had his whole students doing a whole Hispanic dance up on the stage in the auditorium, and that's just one of the examples that he just brings the curriculum to life in his classroom. So congratulations, Mr. Mejia. And representing our high school Teacher of the Year, congratulations goes to Miss Eileen McGrath Diakova. Miss McGrath Diakova teaches high school English. A student who nominated her says, "She is very creative with her lessons in class, and it makes me want to be in her class and engage with the assignments." Like Mr. Mejia, Miss McGrath Diakova is in her 5th year of teaching. Again, that says so much about who she is, that she just earned tenure in September and now is immediately up for Teacher of the Year. She's in her 5th year of teaching, and she has been, in addition to being a challenging writing teacher, she has a creative knack for blending film, podcasts, literature, pop culture to bring her curriculum to life for her students. When I approached her a few years ago and we were going to overhaul the grade 12 curriculum, Ms. McGrath Diakova jumped at the opportunity. It was a challenge for sure, but she completely overhauled it from something that wasn't as engaging to something that has really blossomed under her leadership. You walk around our school building and you see students holding books and reading books and enjoying the readings because they are really engaging with the content that she is providing for them, and they're really getting into that content. And that's due to her passion as a teacher live in the classroom, and it's also due to her abilities to write curriculum. She has a real knack for that, and I think she's a wonderful asset for our school. She's an educator who's always looking to learn more and be stronger in her craft. She always embraces opportunities for professional development, and we are lucky to have Ms. McGrath Diakova. She serves as what I call our cleanup hitter in the English department because she teaches both junior and senior English, and she sends our students off into college and into life, really having that well-rounded education in the English classroom. Congratulations, Ms. McGrath Diakova.
Yeah. Happy to get all of tonight's honorees in one picture and maybe them with their principals. Yeah.
First 5. Harding, and then Britt. Kathleen, you have to one.
There you go, go there.
You're gonna get like the whole body, like, one of these.
Now Britt. Perfect, thank you.
All right. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you so much. If you want to stay, you're more than welcome. If not, we're going to move on to some board business. Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
My turn, right? I guess they heard I was speaking. This is the way I clear a room.
They'll know about you and your phone.
Yes, yes, all my friends, yes. So good evening, everyone. Just a quick monthly update on our referendum projects. Things are progressing very nicely. So the HVAC, we're moving along. Really, inspections were done over spring break, and everything is looking great there. here. Harding continues to be progressing nicely, and we do appreciate the teachers for accommodating us getting in there. We took advantage of spring break and really tried to get a lot done over spring break when no students were there. We're looking at final completion sometime in July, so we're a good whole month ahead of time. And also, we're not looking at a very disruptive summer, which we anticipated. So that's a good thing on that. The contractors are really great contractors to work with. They're responsive to our needs, but they're getting their job done as well. Field upgrades, same with that. The contractor's doing a great job. You could see the transformation over the past couple of weeks since we last spoke. You saw huge mounds of dirt out there last month at this time. Big holes. Now you see a nice surface with multiple layers of stone and different composites that is building up to the point where it's looking pretty good. The turf is to be anticipated to be installed sometime in mid-May. The track could be actually paved sometime towards the end of this month, and the fence installation is progressing also as well. We do not anticipate there to be a problem with utilizing the fields for graduation. The track might not be installed, but the surface will be asphalt. But the actual field will be field turf. The additions project, the detention pond is pretty much complete. There's some, I believe there's still some vegetation that has to be, some trees and shrubs that need to be installed in that. The underground drainage for the new addition is also almost complete. And the footings are awaiting the final decision from the LSRP, whether that could be done. We're looking right now, there will be no change in the completion date of 2025, September 2025. Some of the pictures here, you can see these are some of the Harding School HVAC works that were done this past week, including the cafeteria on your bottom right. Some of the field progress, you can see the differentiation in the stone that's being put down, and the concrete pads that have been installed for the various sports activities that are going out there. And finally, here's a depiction of the addition with the detention pond up in the left-hand corner, the first two, and then some sidewalk work that's being along the addition, as well as some of the underground drainage that's being installed. So all in all, things are progressing nicely. As far as the soil contamination, our claim, we did get our first check from our insurance company for $70,000, which is basically for some of the soil testing that we received. So things are growing nicely. It was nice to get that first check, knowing they acknowledged the claim and aren't really disputing that. We are having some back and forth on some different price levels of what it costs, but overall, expecting zero or anticipating zero and going to the positive side is a good thing when it comes to this. So it was a good thing that we did file that claim with our insurance company. Are there any questions regarding the projects?
Was there any flooding or anything over there?
No, the drainage worked pretty well. Did not really stop them from doing it. The only drainage issues we did was on our current, our issues that we had was on our current baseball field, which hopefully once this project is done, that will be helped out as well.
Even says the complaint issue's been basically either
Yes.
eliminated or
it
been
has.
reduced.
We haven't heard anything. We put flyers since our last meeting. We put flyers in everyone's boxes, mailboxes along 14th Street, notifying them on a weekly basis. On every Monday, we will be updating them, updating our website. You could see what we're anticipating the work that's to be done that week. That's done every Monday. Update
Great,
every Monday.
thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Canal.
I don't think we need to wait for that. Okay, HIB, yeah. Tonight I'm presenting 3 incidents of HIB for review. The 3 are founded cases from Brewerly. Usually I like to keep the charts brief. For the first case, that was nearly impossible because the details are somewhat complex, so it may take a few extra minutes to review the first chart. And then the 2 subsequent charts follow. Happy to take any questions on those. Later in the meeting, you'll be voting on the cases I shared in March, which were from February. Excuse me.
Does anyone have any questions on the HAB report? Do we need another few minutes? Okay, if we do. A few more minutes? Good, good. Anyone? Questions, another minute, or? Okay, thank you. There's,
Still going.
yeah?
Yeah. Next, I'd like to issue an errata to the substitute study presentation we gave at a recent Board of Ed meeting. This is to function as a sort of addendum, if you will. The study was intended to examine the dimensions of a shortage of substitute teachers, and I want to make it clear that it was not a study of teacher absences. Nonetheless, this year in particular, we feel the shortage of substitute teachers acutely because we have added additional mandated professional development opportunities to support our achievement goals. Therefore, beyond needing subs for teachers who may be sick or may need to use personal days, we also need sub-teachers to accommodate teachers and cover for them as a result of the district's increase in these mandated PD events. Thank you for allowing me to clarify. Finally, congratulations. Mr. Habither will read later. Congratulations to Kathleen Weary, a classroom 8 at Harding, on her retirement. She has been with the district for 7 years. Kathleen, we appreciate your service. Good luck. Yeah, that concludes my report.
Anyone have questions for Mr. Arlington? Okay. Before we move on to report of committees, review of resolutions, and board discussion, we'd like to start with the committee norms, the updates from residency.
Yeah, so these aren't, thanks, Madam President. These aren't so much norm updates, but just an update from residency. Paulette and I had the opportunity to meet last week over the break to unpack more of the residency work we did at the committee level a few weeks back, so she may help to flesh out any gaps that I share here. But I think when we brought some of the work of the residency committee to the full board was looking for a recommendation about how to move forward with residency checks. And when I went back to watch the video, what I heard was, like, do we have a recommendation from the residency committee? So Paulette and I met to better firm up that recommendation. And just to share more, about what our thought process was there, we vetted out 2 different options. An option where there's a more massive re-registration for students in, let's say, odd grade levels, along with a list of pros and cons for that method, and then a second option that we had discussed at committee, and then Paula and I further kind of took up, which was a more randomly generated residency check. And she and I met, we took the committee's input, again, discussed more of the pros and cons, and it seems like the recommendation I have is to trial option B, which is the randomly generated residency check, to see how that works. Simply based on the list of pros and cons, it seems more advantageous, more efficient to try that, see how that works, and if it doesn't, then go back to a method we used to use pre-COVID to check for residency. We felt it was worth a shot to try this option, and maybe the work of the committee next is to talk about the metrics we attach to see whether or not this method is successful. We talked about not measuring that success by number of residency cases we surface, so much as the efficiencies and sort of the operational efficacy of the process. But happy to have you flesh that out more if you want.
Just before we would send the parents, will get, so many people would be called, we would let the whole school know that this is gonna happen, not to take it personally, that's one of the ways we're gonna check. And also, we talked about the quarterly report, and I thought maybe even 6 months, a half a year, would be better. You don't have to do it all the time. So, and then the letter will go out to the parents in the beginning. So we kind of,
Yeah, thank you for.
if that would be acceptable to the whole board, that's what we were
Yeah.
presenting.
We talked about a FAQ sheet, right? So that when we send notice en masse to the community, we would also give them some higher level details about what the process looks like. And then, of course, if you are one of the families randomly selected, we would then have an additional set of supports for you to help walk you through the process.
And of course, if there was reports that someone thought someone wasn't living there, we would be looking into that too. So that's a given.
That's what we're talking about.
Any questions about it?
Sounds good.
Seems to work.
Want to look at it, and then if the recommendation is option B and everybody's okay with it, we can either talk about it later, we can add it to, like a motion for the next meeting.
I don't think it needs a motion, it's just
Okay.
more of a procedural thing.
Yeah, okay. Do we want to, everyone want to discuss it now, or do we want to save it for closed session so we can explore further?
I'm just okay with going straight forward.
B.
I'm
Myself.
okay with the recommendation too for option B, and then the fact sheet would be great.
Got it, we'll work on that.
Anthony, Nancy, okay with option?
I'm good, no, it's
Okay.
perfect.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you both for this. Great, thank you. Okay, so at this time, we'll now move on to report of committees, review of resolutions, and board discussion. Up first will be finance, facilities, and negotiations. Mr. Ladati.
Okay. Okay, so these are notes kind of from the last month or so. So the preliminary budget that we had the meeting on last month was forwarded to the county, executive county superintendent. We were informed that it was approved and it's approved for advertisement also. Again, that's not the final. The definitive budget is scheduled for approval during a public hearing on April 29th. So that's going to be a big meeting for us. Resolution 10 addresses the acquisition of athletic equipment for the new fields. If you recall, during the committee meeting during the meeting on February 26th, and during our meeting, Vince showed pictures of our truck fleet. We've decided to purchase a new truck to replace the 2001 truck, and we are doing the extensive repairs on the 2008 truck, which we're going to not replace, obviously. And those repairs should basically last us hopefully another 5 years on that truck. That truck is critical to our snow plowing observations. As for just one thing, resolutions 12, 13, and 14 are approvals for our facilities for various borough activities, and I'll go over them in a little bit. Again, going quickly back to the budget, we're hopefully going to have a committee meeting on April 24th. But that committee basically is on contingency, I guess, if you want to say that. if we get money, if the funding changes, if we have funding changes from the state to recoup some of that, 1.6 million, $1.566 million that we lost in state aid, so. I'm assuming that if nothing changes, we're going with that tentative budget or that initial budget, right, Vince?
Correct.
We're gonna go forward with that on the 24th. So that's where we stand on that. Hopefully we'll get some good news and be able to reduce that money. As to resolutions, you just heard Kyle's, the superintendent's report. 2 is the bill list, 3 is the financial reports. They're all in order. I saw no outliers, no line item transfers over to 5,000. 5 and 6 are workshops and field trips. 7 and 8 are construction for the referendum. 9 is busing transportation. 10 is that athletic purchase I spoke about. 11 is the purchase of the truck. And then 12, 13, and 14 are the street fair, the Kenilworth recreational programs, summer program, and the Kenilworth Carnival agreement. So I kind of have a question for 2 things, Vince, with the referendum project going on the field and the carnival. Is it gonna be, are we gonna have that protected during this carnival
Yeah,
and
the
during the street fair, that no one's going on to the new field or
Yeah, yeah.
going from Harding to the carnival across the field there?
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely, by that time, the fields will be actually open. But we can lock the gates appropriately. My bigger concern is the fireworks, which isn't
I was gonna
being
bring it up
approved.
next, yeah.
So I know I put a request in for, to the borough to take a look at where they locate the fireworks, because I don't want the fireworks to be landing on the new field
Yeah.
and burning the field. So they're gonna hopefully take a look at that. I think there's some options, even if they have to shoot them out of the parking lot or something like that it doesn't affect the field.
I was
It's one
thinking
thing
you-
if they land, in the past, we were never concerned because there was grass that lands on grass,
Yeah.
it burns grass, grass comes back, so.
I even think I mentioned to you about maybe getting the county to give us Blackbrook Park down there, by there, to use the fireworks. So, that's all I have, everyone, so.
So Vince, you're saying we have this turf now, so we can't have the fireworks on the facility anymore?
They
or-
might want to consider relocating where they're shooting them off from. They traditionally shot them off right behind the bleachers.
Yes.
Which wound up with a lot of the debris falling onto the football field, which I don't think it did too much burning, because
No.
I think when it hits, but it's more just like that cardboard type of material from the shells exploding coming down, but I don't want to take a risk, so if we could move it someplace else, or maybe make it a game day decision, which way the prevailing winds are going, or something like that, they could set it up. So it's a request that I put in, hopefully they will take a look at it, and we can make our assessment. We're not approving the fireworks tonight, as you can see.
Okay, but
So-
again, though, is this would be temporary, or now because of the turf, we would never be able to do it again? Couldn't you hose it down or something? So this is just for this year, maybe we're moving it, or are you asking the municipality to move it permanently? That's what
I'm not telling them to move it off of our site.
Okay.
What I'm saying is there another spot that they could put the
launch spot.
the launch
Gotcha.
spot
Alright.
that will have less debris falling onto the, they're concerned, there are 2 concerns. The debris falling onto our roofs and the debris falling onto our new field, okay? Is there a happy medium? I don't know. I'm not a fireworks expert, but they are, so they know where those things would happen.
And one other question, where the approval for the Board of Education, the transportation, I just wondered, the bus, as far as seats, do we have someone still like looking into that once in a while, make sure that everyone's seated?
Yeah, Mr. Davies is always on top of that.
All right.
Everybody, it's a 55-passenger bus. You have to, the bus should not be in motion if you don't have a seat, right? We often talk to the drivers about that. And if they're never full, it's that not everybody wants to share a seat. So there are seats available, but sometimes it involves, as my kids say, like scooching over a little bit so that somebody else could fit with a backpack. I don't think we've had that complaint in a while, though.
No more, so no one's sitting on the ground floor?
We've
That's my
addressed-
concern,
We
okay.
agree that's not right, and so it's been addressed.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Any questions for Mr. Ladati?
And for negotiations, I guess we'll talk that in closed session on both the KEA and the PSA.
Thank you. Okay, we'll now move on to personnel and management. Mr. Haberthur.
Thank you. There are 10 resolutions tonight. Resolution 15 is the aforementioned retirement. Resolution 16 is acceptance of a resignation. Resolution 17 and 18 both recognize the honorees tonight for Educator and Educational Service Professional of the Year from both Harding and Brearley. Resolution 19 is a revised maternity leave absence request. Resolution 20 is the approval of a maternity leave absence request. Resolution 21 is a leave of absence request. Resolution 22 is additional teaching sections for 23-24 school year. And Resolution 22 is the approval of athletic stipend positions. And Resolution 24 is the approval of substitute staff. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Haberthur. Up next, we'll have curriculum and instruction, Mrs. Tiers.
One resolution, Resolution 25 is for the approval of the February 2024 HIP report.
Anyone have questions about the HIP report? No? Okay, thank you very much. We will now move on to old business. Does anyone have any old business? We'd like to continue to remind everyone each week that the Friday folder has opportunities and supports available for students and families, and it includes updates and school-level events. And we also will have a tab committee dates will be forthcoming in the next, I guess, few weeks for our second meeting before the end of the year. For new business? No? We want to just acknowledge and congratulate some of our scholars. They've been involved with a lot of things this spring, plays, athletes, athletic events, clubs, student governments, and we'd also like to continue to thank the leadership teams, the parents, and the community support we had during testing and all the various events we've had going on, and there's a lot of things coming up, and everyone's excited about it, and it takes the support of everybody to make all of these events, you know, successful for the students, as you can see for them right here tonight. So I want to thank you for that. At this point, we're going to open up the meeting to the public. Is there a motion to open up the meeting to the public?
Make a motion to open?
Second? Second. Okay, motion made by Mrs. Strogan, seconded by Mrs. Tiers. All those in favor of opening the meeting to the public, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, ayes have it, motion is carried. Mr. Ganella?
Public comment will now be accepted. The Board of Education sets the limit to the public to speak at the Board of Education meeting to 5 minutes per person unless prior permission has been granted by the Board of Education for extended time pursuant to Board of Education Bylaw 0167. For the record, when you approach the podium, please include your name and address prior to making your comments.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Is there any public that would like to comment at this time?
Hello.
Name?
Stephen Dunn, 32 of Court. I have two things to address, so I'm going to ask the question first and see what, and then the next one. So I was here last month about requesting a waiver for Kenilworth Trail basketball and possibly budgeting for next year. I had some correspondence with Mr. Ganella and didn't hear back, so I don't know if I have an answer tonight or if there's something we can address now or whatever we want
So
to
I
do.
did email you today, Mr. Dunn. The committee met to discuss, we have some follow-up questions, but the committee is definitely willing to work with you in some ways. So we just have to figure out what those ways are. We could do that on the phone this week if you'd like.
Sounds great, thank you. And number two, I am president and founder member of a nonprofit organization called Union County Connects. We're seeking to connect the whole county through trails. I want to build trails everywhere and walk and bike everywhere. April 27th is our third annual Celebrate Trails Day event. It's going to be a 4-mile walk and roll starting right across the street from Acme, going through Blackbrook, Underpee, back down the boulevard. I'll send you the flyer and everything so you have it, but just wanted to personally invite everyone on the board to come out, walk. We're going to 2 Ton afterwards. There'll be music and food for free, drinks you have to buy, support the business. Tom Sexton from the National Trails Conservancy will be there. And it's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys know, but we got $1.5 million to do, not we helped the county get the $1.5 million. And Kenilworth and Roosevelt Park will have a new section of trail under construction, hopefully by the end of this year. And I'm going to keep pushing to build a bridge over Route 22 and get all the way up the summit, because if you've ridden on Route 22 in Union, you know that people are constantly playing Frogger and getting hit and killed. So yeah, big goals. But anyway, April 27th, celebrate Trails Day. Hope you can all come.
Where's the path that's?
So this is the abandoned Rawley Valley Railroad.
The one by the car wash?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yep. It goes right behind Parkway Liquors.
Yep.
And that used to be the train station was there.
Right.
I've actually personally cleared all the brush from the boulevard all the way to the East Coast Greenway. It's about 3/4 of a mile. And what we do is we're going to go through Blackwood Park, Lenape Park on the East Coast Greenway, and then come back down the boulevard.
Very cool.
So last year was pretty cool. We had about 150 people for the walk, maybe 50 or so at the 2-ton. And hoping to go bigger and better this year, because, you know, if you have people show up to this kind of thing, it shows the need and demand, and we can attract more funds to our area. And I'll add one more thing. I think I mentioned this before. You know, in the 60s or 70s, something like 87% of kids walked or biked to school. Now I think it's like 13%. So this, in my eyes, is one way to promote walkability, bikeability, healthy kids and everything. And anything, I think the school, you know, you do a good job. Anything we can do to help promote walking and biking to school. It really kills me that with the referendum there was discussion of traffic jams on Monroe. Everyone in this town lives less than a mile from the school. So we need to have more people walking and biking. So my little.
How many miles do you walk on this thing?
So this is going to be a 4-mile round trip walk. And if you want to ride a bike, you can too. There's a couple sections of the Rawley Valley that's, you might have to walk it, but the rest of it is all bikeable. And we come down the sidewalk on the boulevard, so we don't deal with the boulevard traffic.
Thank you.
Happy to advertise anything that's done in the Friday folder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a flyer I should have printed out, but I'll send it to you too, so you can put that out.
Could be a great opportunity for students for community service and anything like that, too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public at this time would like to make a comment? No? Okay, do I have a motion to close?
So moved.
Okay, motion made by Mr. David.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Biner. All those in favor of closing to the meeting to the public, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, ayes have it, motion is carried. The meeting is now closed to the public for comment. Mr. Ganella, are we ready to vote on resolutions?
Yes. There are 26 resolutions on this evening's agenda. The first 25 will be voted on now. Number 26 will be voted on after we have a discussion in closed session regarding it. So this is for resolutions 1 through 25. Are there any that need to be voted on separately? No? Okay. Mr. Biner?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Drogan?
Yes.
Habefer?
Yes.
Ladati?
Yes.
Tiers?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
Panici?
Yes.
All motions carry unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Since we have a need to go into closed executive session, can I please have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Haberther, seconded by Mr. David. All those in favor of going into closed session, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, I'm sorry. Anyone opposed? Okay, ayes have it, motion's carried. Mr. Ganella, can you read?
Yes, be it resolved, the Board of Education meet in private session from which the public shall be excluded to discuss the topics of special education due process litigation, negotiations, both PSA and KEA, school business administrator annual contract, and personnel, which private discussion is being held pursuant to Section 7B and 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Matters under discussion will be disclosed to the public as soon as final decisions are made and voted upon.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. We're going to go into closed session. We appreciate it. Take care. Thank you so much. Good evening.